I want to ask you about the Kings, who we haven't spent any time on yet in the show. They seem interesting to me. You can take this in any direction you want. This could be the division, which is very interesting. Phoenix is the favorite, still minus price. Kings multiple games ahead right now. Playoffs, what do we do with the Kings? Any kind of market that's open on them, whatever you want to do. What is interesting to you about the Sacramento Kings right now?
The most recent thing, and it's because knowing I was going to talk to you guys, I looked at it just like an hour or so ago, is Mike Brown jumping ahead of Mazzulla for Coach of the Year. And I think the way that probably happens, where he wins Coach of the Year, is they have to stay in the top 4 seeds. Because if you think about what would have to happen, considering how far ahead they are in the loss column with the Suns and with the Clippers and I guess the Mavs, but I'm kind of dropping the Mavs down a tier in how I think of them at this point, that they're going to have to lose quite a bit down the stretch. And I'm assuming the Celtics are just going to more or less motor along and be the 1 seed in the East like we expect them to be, to where if the Kings are on a downslide down the stretch and recency bias plays any sort of factor, I don't think he's going to win Coach of the Year, but seeing him at like plus 110 today definitely surprised me. So over the All-Star break, I actually put in, even though Mazzulla's the favorite, at plus 170 for Coach of the Year for Mazzulla.
Okay, that's Rick's thoughts on the Sacramento Kings and a little Coach of the Year there in that particular market. Rick, I want to stay out west in the Pacific Division and talk about the Lakers, because I'm kind of like, I'm a Knicks fan, but I'm kind of like low-key obsessed with the Lakers right now, like dying for them to get into at least the play-in. I feel like it's too much fun right now. You mentioned you knocked the Mavericks down a little bit. Hey, you blow a 27-point second quarter lead to the Lakers, and maybe that should be the case. But the Lakers have won 2 straight coming out of the break. I love how we even got like the fake LeBron injury where he goes like, I felt a pop in my ass watching the game. I was like, oh my God, the season's over. And he just gets back up and it's like nothing ever happened, and the Lakers end up winning the game, and Anthony Davis looks great. Like, Rick, are you excited to be backing the Lakers the final 20-plus games of the year?
In terms of making the playoffs or anything like that, I do think they'll probably end up in the play-in at this point, much to my dismay, because I may have put in a Oklahoma City plus 290 ticket or 240 ticket over the All-Star break, but that's a whole different deal. I think they'll get there, but I'm still not convinced that, like, there are people that are very bullish on them to make the playoffs, the final 8, and I'm just not there. What it's going to take to get there, even just because the teams are so bunched up in terms of the loss column right now, and you're still, LeBron, yes, fake injury, but he's still not 100%. Anthony Davis, you're still banking on him being healthy for like 2 more months or 6 more weeks or whatever it ends up being regular season wise. I feel like I'm lower on the Lakers than most, just with maybe it's relying too much on priors. I do like how Jared Vanderbilt is awesome. Like, he's a fun guy to watch play. I'm surprised Utah couldn't get more for him individually than, making him part of that package. But if I had to say right now, like, I think the Lakers are a play-in team, but especially if you get Zion back at all this year, and with the fact that Minnesota's low-key playing pretty well right now, I don't think it's any guarantee that they get into the playoffs proper.
No, I think that makes sense. But let's play out this exercise then. I guess we could say Dallas is in danger. I mean, they're 2 games out of not being even in the play-in right now, Dallas. But like, let's say the Clippers and Dallas are still in. Like, they occupy the 5 and the 6 seeds right now. I think we both at least still feel relatively confident that like they're going to at least be in the play-in, if not in the top 6 seed-wise. But like, who knows? Okay, I'm going to read you 7 teams. 3 of these teams will not make even the play-in. 3 of them, of these 7, and I want you to tell me who the 3 are. And based on some of your betting, I'll be curious what the answer is. So 3 of these 7, and people should get used to this too. 3 of these 7 are not going to make it. The Warriors, the Jazz, the Timberwolves, the Pelicans, the Blazers, the Lakers, and the Thunder. I think everybody would pick a couple teams there, but maybe the third would be the disagreement. You have to pick 3 of those to not make it. And I can read them again if you want, Rick.
I'm looking at the standings right now, so I still think Utah, because I think if they go on any sort of slide, Danny Ainge is going to want to pull the plug, and they'll probably just tumble right down into 12th or 13th. I think that's very possible. But outside of them, I guess I'll say Oklahoma City, even though I still think they're a good team. But with how Shea Gilgeous-Alexander hasn't been playing, if they lose any more, then they're just going to say screw it and just tumble out. And then if I knew, for me, it's between New Orleans and Portland. And I think that at this point, I'll say Portland does not get in. Zion gets back. New Orleans is able to stable themselves enough. And then Portland they don't have enough at this point. So I'll say Portland, OKC, and Utah are the three they're out.
What if Damian Lillard scores 71 points a game the rest of the season?
Well, then I'll be happy because he's so fun to watch. That shot chart yesterday was so stupid. Like just the shot, what was it? The most feet ever for any made shots in any game, which I didn't even really know was a thing, but it's cool to know. If he scores 70, yeah, I guess they'll be okay.
I was actually a little disappointed in Lillard. 41 in the first half. I'm thinking like we might get an 80 burger here. Only finished with 71.
And the game was close.
What a slacker.
He had to play too.
Game.
He had to play the whole way. 80 was totally in play in that game.
Well, and that's
like,
that's part
like
of the problem.
Being one of his teammates, like we needed all of his 71 points, like to win this game
to beat
and pull
Houston
away a little bit.
Right.
To
beat Houston. So at the beginning of the second half, they were just like doubling him at half court, and it took them a few possessions to figure out how to beat that and still get the ball back to him. It was like, oh, look, the one time Houston actually is mildly successful with any sort of defense, it's to take fun away. Cool. Thanks, Rockets. But yeah, so just the fact they need that to get by the Rockets is another sign of like when they have to play real teams, like he just needs to do too much. They don't have enough around him yet.